How's it going, team? Eddie Gray back at it again. Hope you're doing well on this amazing day. Today we're covering the plugin manager. Now I plan on releasing material in the near future where I'm going to cover this in depth. As you could see, when you're looking at my plugin manager, very detailed. I have everything set up in such a way where it really works for my system. I've got vocal plugins ready to go. Everything I have from UAD, utility, transient shapers, all sorts of stuff going on right now. So I just want to highlight how this works, okay? It's not that complicated, but there is a little bit of a learning curve, okay? So here's how it goes. At the very top, we have show all. Now, this is going to give you every manufacturer, every single plugin that you have at your disposal. Right below that, you have something called top level. Now, this is a category that will show up regardless if you're choosing an audio track or a MIDI track. These plugins will show up at the top of the list. So if you find yourself using Omnisphere all the time or your gain utility plugin, you want to go ahead and drag that from here over. And there are some rules and laws about how this all works, which we can go over, but I just want to be clear about that. So you can see that I've got an audio and MIDI track here. When I select track number 1, I go into audio and I click. You can see that I have my most recent list, the plugins that I've used most recently, but I also have this top tier, top line category. I find myself often using the Studer, the SSL, oxide tape, and so if I find a pattern that is constantly happening in my workflow, then this is where I instantiate these plugins. If maybe they fall by the wayside, then I'll go ahead and take them out. So if I go back into the plugin manager, Command P key command, I go to top level, you can see that those plugins are right here. You're probably asking, well, I see a lot more than just the oxide tape and the SSL. Well, that's because these will fall in line with the software instrument track or a MIDI track. So here you have Reactor 6, Machine 2, right? So if I go to track number 2, I'll hit instrument, and again, all of that material is here. We've got Serum, Machine 2, Reactor. I find myself using these software instruments above all else. All right, so I'm going to open up again the plugin manager. How do you open up? If you're not a key command person, you want to go up here to Logic Pro, Preferences, and then all the way down Plugin Manager. Okay, so on the left-hand side, we have the categories that you can create. You can see this is my system, and again, I will create a course on this at some point. If you want to create a new category, you simply have to hit this plus symbol right here. And let's say you wanted to create the software instruments that you use the most, the synthesizers or orchestral instruments. You can create a category so that you don't have to sift anymore. Everything is just in one place. Now you can also check out Plug Search by Speaker Food, which is a grand plugin, allows you to sift through plugins in a very easy, efficient way. So that's another option, but this also is a very good way to kind of keep everything in one place and also just remind you of plugins that you have. So if I go to my de-esser category here, you can see that, oh, all right, I've got sibilance, I've got de-esser, I've got Weiss DS. And so this reminds me of some of the plugins that I may have. So you're basically creating groups and categories for various tasks or software instruments that you find yourself using all the time, or plugins that you find yourself using all the time. All right, so you can rename these by double clicking if you want to. Let's say you wanted to delete something. Maybe you drag something in here by mistake. All you have to do is select the actual name and then just hit delete. And it doesn't delete it from your system. That requires another process, which I go over in other videos. Check them out on the channel. But it just takes them out of the category list, okay? So if we want to search for a plugin by name, you want to go to the top right. Now, bear in mind, right now I'm currently highlighting my Bit Crush and clip folder. So I'm only going to be able to find anything inside of the umbrella of this folder. So if I want to find a plugin on my system, let's say I type in the word overdrive. All right, well, now I can start to search effectively when I use the search filter on the top right hand, but what has to be in key focus? Show level. If I have this focused on the manufacturer, again, we're just looking through the actual companies that are providing these third-party plugins, okay? So that's how that works. Let's keep going here. How do I enable an audio unit that's failed a validation test? Well, this is super useful. You go to show all, use the compatibility tab on the right-hand side. Okay, you scroll down. You look for plugins that are currently not validated. Now, these are plugins I actually don't need. So this is why I have them disabled, and truly I have to go into the components folder and delete them in order to really get rid of them. At the moment, everything should be checking out on my system. These that are disabled, I simply just don't want them. I'm not using them anymore, but I want to keep them in my system. So let's pretend that this one, mix checker, was something that I still want to use. You can see that I have the pro version here. Well, all I would have to do is hit reset and rescan selection, and then we're all good. All right, if I want to disable a plugin, conversely, you would just hit use and then hit done. Logic will rescan the system, and then it will be disabled. But that doesn't mean that it's gone from your system. You're not deleting anything per se. If I want to rescan a selection, same thing. We would just click here, reset and rescan the selection. And why would you do this? Well, let's say you have a plugin and for whatever reason, it's just not showing up, and you've tried the initial scan with Logic, but it's just not clicking. This is a sure way to be able to manually select and manually scan just this one plugin so it shows up in your plugin list. So to create a category, again, hit the plus symbol if you want to start adding to that category. Like here's my favorites tab. All I would do is click, drag, hold, and go ahead and drop it inside of the appropriate folder. All right. To move a selection of plugins from one category to another, essentially, you would go to the other category, whatever that may be, grab them, and then just drag them over. So let's say you completely drop the ball on this and you kind of want to go back to square one, then you would go to the top left and restore default settings. Now, the only reason I'm even mentioning this is because when I first started, I completely botched this and I actually was missing plugins from my system because I didn't understand the hierarchy of how this exactly worked. So keep it real simple when you first start. Create some basic categories, maybe like reverb, maybe like compression dynamics, maybe your limiters, maybe some mastering plugins. And then again, make sure show all is selected. You can use the search filter if need be. And then you would drag the appropriate plugins into the corresponding folder. And now you are in effect being organized, conducting yourself like a professional, and getting ready for that next level. Hey guys, thank you very much. If you're interested in what we do, go ahead and check us out, hfmusicacademy.com. We are helping so many people all across the world realize their potential, realize their dreams, and monetize their music. It starts just like this, learning one brick at a time, one day at a time. Again, thank you very much for watching. Go ahead and sub, go ahead and smash the like button, hit that notification bell so that every single time I drop a new video, I'm right back at you. All right, guys, we'll see you later. Take good care of yourself. Peace.